Today, we're diving into Bahrain, a small but incredibly important island nation in the Persian Gulf. Now, it might be Asia's third smallest country, but don't let its size fool you. Its influence and character are huge. And really, the whole story starts with its name. So, in Arabic, Bahrain literally means the two seas. For centuries, people have wondered what that's all about. Is it the freshwater springs that bubble up from under the salty seabed, or maybe the bays on either side of the island? But for our purposes today, we're going to ask a slightly different question. What if the two seas aren't just about water? What if they're actually these powerful competing currents, these contrasts that have shaped the very soul of this nation? We're going to explore three of these big dualities. Okay, our first duality is all about the economy. It's this incredible contrast between the ancient riches pulled from the ocean and the modern wealth that flows from today's global finance. For thousands of years, Bahrain was all about one thing: pearls. I mean, we're talking about the ancient Dilmun civilization, the Greek traders. Everyone knew Bahrain's pearls were the best on the planet. Its entire economy was built on what divers could bring up from the seafloor. And this timeline just lays it all out, doesn't it? You can see the shift so clearly. For millennia, it's all about trade and pearl diving. Then, bam, 1932, oil is discovered, the very first on that side of the Gulf. But look at what happens next. Bahrain was smart. They knew the oil wouldn't last forever, so they started building something entirely new. And that's the key. Bahrain became one of the first post-oil economies in the region. Way ahead of the curve, they decided to become a major financial hub. They brought in the world's biggest banks, especially when things got unstable in other parts of the Middle East. They bet big on banking and tourism, creating a whole new economic engine. So, what's the result of all that forward thinking? Well, get this. Today, Bahrain has the 23rd highest GDP per capita in the world. The World Bank officially calls it a high-income economy. Just think about that. From an economy built on divers holding their breath to one built on high finance. That is one heck of a leap. All right, let's move on to our second big duality. This one is all about the people. Bahrain has always been a crossroads, and today, that's reflected in a pretty unique demographic situation. This is honestly one of the most surprising things about the country. Just look at that chart. Expatriates, or non-nationals, aren't just a small group. They're actually the majority of the population. This creates this really unique social fabric where you have these two huge communities, citizens and foreign workers, living right alongside each other, both completely shaping the country. And if you zoom in on just the Bahraini citizens themselves, the picture gets even more interesting. You've got the Baharna, who are Arab Shia, the Ajam, who are Persian Shia, and then several groups of Sunni Arabs, which includes the ruling family. It's a real mosaic of different histories and cultures all woven together into one national identity. And all of this leads us to our third and final duality. This tension between a traditional system of government and the modern political hopes of its people. Okay, so Bahrain is a semi-constitutional monarchy. Power is shared, but, not exactly equally. The king has a lot of executive authority, and he appoints the entire upper house of parliament. The lower house, though, is elected by the people. So you've got this blend of monarchical power with a degree of popular say. Now, that balance was seriously put to the test back in 2011. As the Arab Spring was sweeping across the region, massive protests erupted in Bahrain. A lot of citizens were demanding more political freedom and major reforms to this very system of government. In the years since, human rights organizations have continued to raise concerns. This quote here from Amnesty International suggests that the space for peaceful protest and expression has shrunk quite a bit since that uprising. And that really gets to the heart of our final duality, that ongoing struggle to balance state authority with the aspirations of the people. So where do all these competing currents leave Bahrain today? Well, it's a kingdom navigating a really complex future. It's truly a nation standing at a crossroads. So yeah, we've seen these two seas of Bahrain in three key areas, right? There's its economy, this huge leap from ancient pearls to modern finance. There's its people, this almost even split between nationals and non-nationals. And there's its power structure, a monarchy trying to balance tradition with modern political demands. These are the currents that really define this place. And that leaves us with one big final question. Bahrain has already proven it can be a bold pioneer, right? It navigated the shift away from oil before almost anyone else. So the challenge now is, can it use that same pioneering spirit to navigate the complex social and political seas of its future? Can it forge a new path that successfully balances its diverse population and its system of power?
That right there is the central question for the island of two seas.